I'm Christine Mullins, and I'm the creator of a game called Children's Miracle Music. And I have done over 20 years of research on how to be the best mom ever, and I've condensed it into the push of a button. Because I know that all of you want to be the best mom ever. So what I have done is decided when I was really young that I wanted to have the career of motherhood. And if you're going to have a career, you should have a definition of what that career is, right? So I defined it. Oh, I'm going to move this back so you can see. So the definition I came up with is, can you see that? Is to train children to have the habit, skill, and desire to take care of themselves and to love others by serving them. Now, if you could do that and your kids were 18 and they could financially take care of themselves and they could physically take care of themselves and they love to serve other people, wouldn't you feel like you're a success? That's what the game does. Yay! Okay, so what most people, most moms, end up doing is two things. They either be a slave, it's the slave hat. Notice it's black because you feel depressed and you're angry that you have to do all the work by yourself when you wear the slave hat, right? That true? Okay, so you either do all the work by yourself or you put on the next hat, which is the motivator hat. Now I'm going to be this really good mom and I'm going to get my kids to do their portion of the work. And I'm going to motivate them. I'm going to count to 3, and then I'm going to count to 10, and then I'm going to say it 50 times, and then I'm going to say, why don't you ever listen to me? And then my face is going to turn red. And that is not a fun way to be a mom either, right? Okay, so we don't want to be red, and we don't want to be black. So what is there? Most people go back and forth between motivator and slave, okay? Neither one are fun. And then we don't like our career, and we go get a new one. And our kids go to daycare. Okay, so there is another option, okay? We don't have to be slave or motivator. Isn't that exciting news? There's a third option, and it's trainer. Isn't that look good? See, it matches? Okay, trainer is where you get your kids to do what they're supposed to do, and you stay calm and cool and collect. Is that just exciting? You want to do that, right? Okay, that's what we want to be, trainer. Okay, so how do you be trainer? Well, a trainer has 6 specific principles that they follow. And you don't have to write it down because my assistant, Teresa, is going to hand you these 6 principles on the way out the door. So here's what they are. So here's what you do before I tell you the 6 principles. To teach is different than to train. To teach is to tell. Okay, and then I'm going to teach you how to train. Okay, but to teach, there's only one thing we should ever teach our child. Ready? It's very exciting. I will not do for you what I can train you to do for yourself. An example of this happened when my teenage daughter wanted me to drive her to and from her work every day. And I had all these little kids. And I said, I will not do for you what I can train you to do for yourself. I said, I will get all my little kids and we will walk to the bus with you. And we'll take the bus to your work with you until you can feel comfortable taking it by yourself. And she's like, all the other moms drive there. And I went, I would be a bad mom if I did for you what I could train you to do for yourself. So there's only one thing to say to your children to teach them, okay? That's one. Now, okay, here comes the exciting parts. Okay, this is how you train. Okay, the first principle of training, motherhood training, is to put your hand on their hand and gently do it with them. Notice the word gently. Okay, gently do it with them. Put your hand on their hand. Okay, so my 6-year-old daughter was responsible for cleaning the bathroom. And she's like, I am not putting my hand on that floor behind the toilet. That is disgusting. And so did I put on the motivator hat and go, you are going to do that because that's your job? No, I didn't. I just put my hand on her hand, put a little baby wipe underneath it, and gently showed her exactly how to do it. And we rinsed it out and showed her how not to scrub it around in little circles or it just mixes it all together. Okay, so put your hand on their hand. The second principle of motherhood training is take time to research what they're responsible for with them. Okay, an example of this is that my son, he was responsible for the bathroom, a different bathroom, and he would clean everything except the toilet. And I was so tempted to put the black hat on and become slave and go clean the toilet because it was dark brown. Now, if I had gone and cleaned it, it would have been clean, but I would have been slave. And I'm not going to be slave. And I'm also not going to go in there and get mad at him because I don't want to be red either. And so I'm like, okay, I'm trainer. What can I do as trainer? So I took him to a janitorial supply store. And I said, and he's 11, and I said, okay, go ask the owner what the best way to clean a toilet is. And he's like, I'm not going to. And I said, well, we're not going to leave till you do. So he finally went over and he learned things that I never knew. And how long have I been cleaning toilets? I mean, this is a skill you need to know forever. And I had never known it. And so now we went home. Is that too loud? I'm sorry. And now, so we went home and he said, this is my little stubborn child. Oh, I shouldn't say that. And we went home. Now it's not on at all. We went home and he said to me, the game has to do with music and you put a CD on. I didn't mention that part. But anyway, he said to me, do I have to wait for the music to come on or can I go clean the toilet now? I'm like, I'm such a good trainer. And he went and cleaned the toilet. And do you know what happened to him? He had great self-esteem inside of him because he knew a skill that nobody else in the house knew, and he knew that he could take care of something and give something to the family and that he was needed by our family. And so that is, do research with them because there's a lot of things we don't know and we think we do and we think we know how to do the dishes. But you know what? We did research on that and there's some amazing ideas. Okay, so number 3 is to only give them what they will take care of. Notice the word will. It's not can, it's will. So if they will only take care, if they will only hang up 3 shirts and 3 pairs of pants, then you only give them 3 shirts and 3 pairs of pants to take care of. And then they go, well, I want all my other clothes, and you say, well, as soon as you can show me that you can take care of all your other clothes, I'll give them to you. That's great, huh? I'm still calm, I'm still cool, I'm collect. And so, so the other day, I shouldn't tell you all my stories, huh? The other day, my son didn't make his bed. And I did not put on the red hat. And I went into his room and I took his blanket. Did he take care of his blanket? No. So I took it. And that night he went to bed. He goes, where's my blanket? And I said, well, you only get to keep what you take care of. And he said, oh, I don't care. And he acted like it was no big deal, right? He's 9. And so that night I said, you know, if I were you, I would put like three pairs of pajamas on so I could be warm. And he's like, I don't need it. And so that night at 4 a.m, I found him up on the computer. I said, what are you doing on the computer at 4 a.m? And he said, I'm too cold to sleep. And I'm like, and he said, I said, well, do you think you can take care of your blanket from now on? And he said, yes. So I said, well, let's go get you in bed. So I put him in bed and put his blanket on. And the next morning, voila, his bed was made It's been made ever since. And do you think that I would still be motivator if I had just chosen to be motivator instead of trainer? No, but so now, and then his sister saw what happened to him, and she makes her bed every day too, and doesn't want her blanket taken. So the idea is to only give them what they will take care of. And the principle behind that is, like I said, you only get to keep what you take care of. And so this trains them how to, in life, how to look forward to what they're taking care of so that they can keep it. For instance, if you don't take care of your spouse, you don't get to keep your spouse. Oh, that would be bad, huh? How many people get divorced because they're not being taken care of by their spouse? This is a good principle to learn. Okay, it's the law of the harvest. Oh, 4. Okay. Okay, tell them the reason that we do things for each other. It's not because we have this really great chore chart, and it's not because I told you you have to, and it's not because you're going to get grounded if you don't. It's because we love each other. Now you're going, oh, my kids don't care if they show me love, but here's how they do it. With the game, everybody does their points. You would call them chores. Everybody does their points, which are acts of kindness for each other, at the same time. Okay, so you put on the music and it's going through the whole house, and I'll show you the game in just a minute. But it's going through the whole house, and here you see the dad and the mom and all the kids doing acts of kindness for each other at the same time. It's really hard when the music's on and everybody's showing love to each other to just sit down and do nothing. And so that's how you show each other. And sometimes when I do the dishes, which is my act of kindness, every evening, my son says, "Thanks for loving me, Mom," by doing the dishes. And how often do you get thanked for doing the dishes when you're a mom, right? That just really doesn't happen. But unless you have the game, and then they know why you're doing it. I'm doing this because I care about you, I love you, I want you to have clean dishes to eat off of, right? Okay, so that's 4. Okay, number 5 is to let them have short-term natural consequences. Okay, so we want to train them how to have long-term natural consequences when they're old. We don't want them to wait till after they rob a bank to realize their natural consequence is to go to jail, right? We want to train them when they're young to have natural consequences. Okay, so let me think of one. Can't think of one right now. A natural consequence would be, oh, I've got it. One day, the dishes didn't get done during the act of kindness. So I didn't put on my red hat and get mad at somebody and tell them to get in here now. I just washed off the table and served the food on the table. That's a natural consequence. You don't do dishes, you don't get to have dishes, right? Okay, so my little daughter, she starts crying. "Where's the dishes?" And I said, "Well, it looks like they're still in the sink." and she's like, "Oh," and so then, you know what? The dishes got done. And I didn't even say anything. It was amazing. Good thing we didn't have soup, right? That would have been bad. So you just do the natural consequence. You stay calm, cool, and collect, and then you're good. Okay, number 6 is only give attention to the good things you see being done. Okay, so I was doing research on this, and it was amazing. There was this class, and they wanted to see if they could do an experiment on their teacher. And they all decided that when he walked to the left side of the room, they would give him great attention and ask questions and look at him. And when he would walk to the right side of the room, they would all go to sleep on their desk and yawn and not pay attention to him. Well, within seconds, he was on the left side of the room all the time. He didn't know what they were doing. It was a subconscious thing, but he wanted the attention, right? Well, it's the same thing with kids. Kids want attention. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, they want your attention, okay? So you're playing the game, your son doesn't make his bed, and your daughter does make her bed. Now, which one do you give the attention to? You're supposed to give it to the daughter. But usually we put on the red hat and give it to the son. Now kids crave attention. It's just like adults. It's like air. You want to have it and you're going to get it whether it's good or bad, but I'm going to get it. Right? And so you have to remember the training rule. Yeah, good things. And give the good attention to the daughter and not the son. Well, one time I couldn't see anything good about what anybody was doing, but I was doing my points. And so I'm like, so whoever's doing the good, you go over exaggerate it and whistle and clap and tell them how great they're doing, right? So I'm like, I made my bed. Yay, look everybody, I made my bed, woohoo! And everybody's like, oh, she's getting the attention. I'm gonna go run do my bed so I can get some attention. And I was practicing this the other day and my kids were running around the table. I'm pregnant with my 8th, and so I have a lot of kids. And they were running around the table instead of eating dinner. And my 1-year-old, who was strapped into her chair and couldn't run around the table, was eating. And I said, wow, look, Grace is eating her food and she's sitting in her chair. I am so proud of her. And I clapped and I whistled. And guess what happened? All my other little children stopped and ran to their chair and started eating. And I went, why did I not do this years ago? And so they were eating and then I clapped and whistled for them and made sure that they got their attention too. So anyway, those are the 6 steps to the principles of training for motherhood. And I'm going to tell you how you can apply them by pushing a button. That is so exciting, huh? Okay, so here's what we did. We put the 2 hardest times of the day, the morning and the evening, and we found that there were 8 things you have to motivate or be a slave to every morning, and 4 things every evening. And so every morning you're going, can you just put your shoes on? We're leaving in 5 minutes. And they completely ignore you, right? And then you motivate some more. If you don't, you're going to be grounded. And then they ignore you some more. Well, what we found, and then it deteriorates your relationship, right? And so what we found is that children's brains haven't developed to understand time frame. So you're speaking a different language when you say, be ready in 5 minutes. And you think that they know what you're saying, and consequently you get mad at them. Well, so we took all of the things that you have to do every morning, 8 things, and we timed them. How long should it take you to do them, right? Not does it. Should it take you to do these 8 things? And then we found music, the length of time that it takes, the length of time of each one of those 8 things. And what we found is that children do understand time frame through music. So we found music that's highly motivational and very exciting, and it's the exact length of time that it takes you to do those 8 things. And then we put directions in between the songs. And so there's the morning CD, which I'm going to play you a clip of, and then there's the evening CD. And so let me just play a clip of that. Oh, and one of the points every morning and a different one every evening is what's called an act of kindness, and it's an area of the home that you're responsible for so that you can show your family you love them. That's why we're doing it. There's no other reason. And then pretty soon, our product here is supposed to just be a temporary training tool. So pretty soon, after a few years, they're not going to need it anymore. They're going to be trained how to do it on their own. And before I show you that clip, I have to tell you, my little 6-year-old daughter, she came in to me the other day, and I had slept in because, I was telling you this, because I slept in because my baby had been up at night. And she said, I just wanted to tell you that Tommy and I have made our beds, and now Tommy's downstairs making breakfast for the family, and I'm cleaning the toilet. And then she ran out of the room. The music wasn't on. She knew what to do, how to do it, how long to take doing it, and why to do it, without me even getting out of bed. And that is the goal we're after, right? As parents, get them to that goal. We're set. Okay, so let me give you a clip of how it sounds on the CD.
Point number 3 is, do your act of kindness or take a quick shower. You have 4 songs.
You want to move to that, don't you? Okay, so that's the clip of a little bit of the act of kindness. So is that too loud for you still? Okay. And so they run and they do their act of kindness. And my little 1-year-old is being trained by my 3-year-old, who already does the laundry for us every morning. And she puts her hand on her hand. My little 1-year-old's hand is the cutest thing you've ever seen. I started when they're born. And trains her how to take the lint out and how to take stuff out of the dryer and where to put it. And so it's this amazing thing because you get good at whatever you practice. And if you're going to practice doing the laundry every day since you're born, you can do the laundry by the time you're 3. I'm serious, because my daughter does it. I was amazed. She gets on her little stool and it's amazing. And so one day my husband said, I really need these work clothes washed for tomorrow. And I was in the middle of something. And I said to my little 3-year-old, hey, go show Dad how to do the laundry. And it was great, because she'd been trained, right? She had the habit and the skill and the desire to know how to help her dad do the laundry. So how it works is you have your game board. This is the game board. And you put the music on, you push the button, you put the music on in the morning, it wakes you up to this beautiful music. And then you have on the back, it tells you those 6 things that we just went over and how to use them and what to say exactly. You only get to keep what you take care of. You know, it tells you how to keep the blue hat on all the time. Because you might be tempted, even though the directions on the CD say, okay, make your bed, you might be tempted to fall back into red hat if they don't do it, unless you have these 6 training tools on the back. So you just have them on the back, and that's so that you won't lose them, because it'll be on your fridge, right? And then over here, so those are the training tools. On this side are the game rules. And so it's actually set up as a game. And the reason for that is, well, it's kind of like football. If you took guys and said, okay, I want you to go outside in the freezing cold snow and jump on each other until you break bones. Like, they probably wouldn't do that, right? But if you gave them strategies and points and goals, then they would not only do that, but millions of people would pay to watch them do that. I can't figure it out. But anyway, that's what this is. We took things that you normally think are hard, like tasks, jobs, we don't call them that, and we put them into a game, so all of a sudden they become fun. And I have to tell you one thing about teenagers. You were asking me about that. This works for all ages. Start them when they're born. You can start them when they're a teenager. And it works for all ages. And the reason it works for teenagers is because they're going to hate it. It's really great if they hate it. And the reason that it's great is because they're going to hate no matter what they do if it has to do with cleaning, right? Okay. So what you say is, as soon as you can do your points without the music, I won't turn it on anymore. Isn't that great motivation? And then they just run around and do their points because they don't want you to turn on the music, and if they don't, you don't have to turn into red hat, you just turn on the music. It's really great. Isn't that a great idea? Okay, so here's how the game board works. You put it on your fridge, it has magnets on the back and the training tools. And you put the dad, the mom, and then the kids. And this is how you get your husband to do it. Okay. Because husbands are going to go, that's for kids. I'm not doing that. And not all of them, my goodness. But anyway, here's what you say. You say, well, I really need your help in training the kids how to have these successful lifelong skills. So I was wondering if you could be a teammate to so-and-so. And then they become a teammate, and I'm a teammate, right, to somebody who doesn't know how to do it. And you leave them on the same act of kindness for years until they're highly skilled at it. Kind of like when you're learning how to play the piano. You don't switch to violin until you're finished learning how to play the piano, right? And so you learn how to play, or you learn how the skill of cleaning the toilet and the bathroom, and then you switch to learning how to clean, a different room. And so you leave them on there, could be years, on the same act of kindness, but by the time they're 18 and they leave your home, they should know how to take care of every room of the house as a pro. And they should also know how to do the laundry, the dishes, and make breakfast before they're 18. And they should be able to do them in 10 minutes. And they should do them without motivation other than wake up in the morning and go do it. And they should know why. And this is how you do it. You just push a button. It's really great. Okay, so then you have a running total of points at the bottom. You get 8 points in the morning if you do all your 8 points in the morning, and 4 points in the evening if you do all 4 points in the evening. And once you get 100 points, you can get a private date with either your mom, your dad, or your spouse. Now, if you go on this kind of a date where you've looked forward to it and you've anticipated it and you've earned it, and you've sacrificed to get there, then consequently, you want the date to work as a child as much as, well, even as a spouse, as much as your mom wants the date to work. So consequently, you're open to emotional bonding because you're willing to work for making the date work. If you just take your child on a date because you think that you're a good mom, or you want to be a good mom, and they haven't worked to get there or sacrificed to get there, then they subconsciously have an entitlement feeling. Have you ever done that? And they're like, you couldn't do enough to make me happy on this date, but hey, thanks for taking me, you know? But if they go on this kind of a date where they've looked forward to it and anticipated and sacrificed, then they bond with you. And if you go on those kinds of dates, especially with your spouse, about every 2 weeks, then you create the kind of forever lasting relationships that we're here to have a family for in the first place, right? Now I have to remind you, getting points and going on dates is just a bonus. It's not the reason. It's not a reward. It's a bonus. The reason is because I love you. That's the reason. And you say it all the time. You remind them all the time. This is the reason I do this, is because I care about you. And I want you to have a happy life. And I'm trying to make you have a better, happy life for that. So that's the game. And the training tools are on the back. And we have a booth over there in the corner if you're interested. It's the one with the balloons. And the reason for the balloons is because it's party, right? Game? Party? Okay. And so, anyway, thanks for coming. And if you want to know more, you can come over to the booth. Thank you.